Sit right down and I'll show you where my dreams began.
I'm Michael Dugan, your culinary host, guiding you through the chef's journey. Join me at the chef's table, where you'll experience stories, secret sauces, signature dishes, and kitchen disasters. What would you say some of your most popular culinary lavender products are?
I would say the lavender honey. We probably had that on the shelves for a week. And as soon as it was time to harvest the hives, it just flew out of the barn. But
Okay.
I would say second to that, people came from far and wide. We partnered with Lopez Island Creamery to make Our Legacy Fields custom lavender ice cream sandwich that has this deeply rich brownie textured chocolate cookie with a very light flavored lavender ice cream and a generous portion of that. The inside is just to die for.
Okay, you're seriously culinary connected now. You got it.
It's hard to crave ice cream when there's snow outside, but I would totally. And if no one's watching, I might eat too. Make myself sick, but it is so good. And then for folks who prefer the non-dairy variety, we made Lopez Island Creamery rather made a lavender lemon sorbet, and just amazing. We had a couple of guests come out to the farm and get some containers of that to put scoops into Prosecco for like a bridal party. Now we're talking. These people are genius.
I see.
But the ice cream's a hit. We have lavender lemonade. We have infused chocolate. We have lavender infused honey. So the natural honey in the hives here on the farm don't have a distinct lavender flavor. The bees just feast on the lavender. But we also have an infused honey where you will definitely pick up the notes of lavender in that honey. Jams and preserves and syrups, a ton. Lavender is so versatile. And if anyone is leery of having a lavender flavored something or other, it's probably because they at one point in time tasted a product that had like a hint of a soapy flavor. And they're like,
I have tasted that before.
No one wants cleaning products in their food. And I get it. But chances are they had the wrong variety in their food. Part of my joy is teaching chefs and bakeries exactly what cultivars to use when you're making infusion.
Who do you teach? Let's talk about that.
Really good question. So we've had a couple, this is season number 2 for us. So we're brand new baby farmer, but we have a list of people who have asked about culinary lavender. And so this year will be a lot of fun because we are going to have double the yields we had last year. And, it keeps increasing year over year when these plants get larger. But bakeries love a white chocolate chip and lavender cookie. Sell it to, like one of our downtown bars will make lavender infused cocktails and make a simple syrup with a gin and tonic. It's delicious. What I enjoy is a glaze and put it on something more savory. So you can do, everyone's heard of herbes de Provence, and that usually has a blend of herbs, including lavender. And if they're good, they're picking the right lavenders. Melissa is a cultivar that is a pink petaled lavender, and it has kind of a spicy, citrusy, floral. It's just an incredible flavor. But there's a lot of folks who are very interested. And a lot of people in the community came and picked bundles of culinary lavender to make gifts for the holidays, lavender sugar, or a lavender infused vanilla, or infused vodka. And so just a ton of options.
Okay. Any specific, can you throw out any names of restaurants or chefs that you've worked with?
Well, I have to give a shout out to Rocks and Dirt Bakery. This gal, she's incredible. She lives out on Camano Island, and she doesn't have an official brick and mortar. Amazing recipes, and concocts these great twists and turns to allow for dietary needs and sensitive palates and stomachs. And so, if you have an allergy or an affliction, she will insert in her recipes what to swap things out for. And I think that's just brilliant. Well, it's just so helpful. It's just very inclusive, and it makes everyone feel empowered that, that the last thing you want is for people to approach cooking and creating with, I can't, start with, I can't. She definitely puts that out there right in the beginning. Like, you absolutely can. People who have celiac, or, like there's a lot of issues that people need to bob and weave and maneuver around.
True.
And she makes that so easy. I would definitely point people to Rocks and Dirt Bakery. She's rooted right here in the Pacific Northwest, and just an incredible person. So check her out. But yeah, we partnered with a bakery out of Arlington, and they became fast friends. We were actually farmers market buddies. They were right next to us in the farmers market, and it's Hammond Bakery, and they are just a hoot. Just everyone there, down to the management and back of the kitchen staff, just amazing individuals. But during our grand opening, we wanted to offer a couple of lavender specific cookies, like a shortbread.
Oh,
and
cool. Okay.
So good. And they knocked it right out of the park.
And so this is the kind that doesn't, like you said, the culinary lavender is tasty, and it's not, how did you put it?
Soap.
Yeah, it's not soapy. It's not soapy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to say that, but yeah.
No. Well,
that's so interesting. Because my mom washed my mouth out with soap as a kid, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would not be a great memory.
Likely not her favorite lavender soap, though.
Yeah.
It would be, the Irish Spring, most likely.
Right.
But yes, a little goes a very long way. And that takes some playing. And I think if there are chefs out there, they like to play in the kitchen and tweak and perfect. And taste and sample and try again and continue to infuse and simmer down and concentrate. And that's
why they're chefs. They're artists, right?
Yeah, artists and mad scientists all wrapped up into one gift of a human being. So it's just fun, and I think it's honestly untapped territory. We know we're constantly learning the benefits of lavender, like the terpenes or terpenes, different elements that your scent receptors take straight to your brain, and like all the beneficial and neurological effects of aromatherapy and what it can do for people. And lavender is just chock full of them, like linalool, and linaloyl acetate and camphor and eucalyptol. All of those things inspire different effects for people. It's fascinating. Pain management, antidepressant, anti-anxiety. There's neuroprotective elements in lavender, antispasmodic effects in like therapeutic actions. And that's not even touching the topical benefits of lavender, the antimicrobial and fungal and bacterial things. Truly amazing. But we haven't even begun to scratch the surface on the benefits of culinary uses and the benefits of consuming the different cultivars used in cooking and baking. So I think that there's so much to explore with lavender. Every bit of this plant is incredible. And I hope one day chefs and bakers will really get into it and want to play.
Yeah, that to me, like, I love learning how chefs explore, new realms, right? And this isn't, it's been around for a long time, but it's not been touched on that much, I think.
Yeah.
And it may be because of the soap concept, right? It's
Yeah, people don't know what
sort of
ones to
visual.
use. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I would say, or you've already really kind of hit it pretty hard, but how would you summarize what you love most about being a lavender farmer and what keeps you motivated to continue doing this?
Summarize. Asking me to summarize anything is a tall order. I like to
I
talk,
know.
and I think honestly, it's categorized into two buckets. There's the total personal answer, and then the lavender answer. And
Okay.
personal, um, I, truly, I wanted to have a deeper connection to my soil, what we grew, what we ate, time to prepare it. Now I have that. Slowing life down and having meals as a family, collecting the produce into a basket outside my kitchen and bringing it into my kitchen to create a meal has literally inspired one of my kids wants to be a chef when he grows up. Like, I mean,
Oh,
talk about heart trophy for me
wow.
as a mom.
Yeah.
Pulling the kids into the kitchen, watch it happen, but not just that, but have time and patience to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How old?
like, oh, Drew is 15. He just got his
Okay.
permit. He's taking
Okay.
driver's ed, which is shaving years off my life. And Kira is 17.
I can probably connect him to some people. I've met
Oh,
so many amazing chefs by doing this podcast that are so
that
giving and so caring, and they're just genuine. I feel so lucky to have the guests that I've had on the show.
that's huge. That's
Yeah,
huge. And we all know kitchen culture can be a crunch factory.
that's right.
It's brutal. And
You worked in it.
oh,
I mean, you're
completely.
not
Yeah.
naive about it. You didn't
Oh,
want
I
to own a
know it.
restaurant, right?
I know. And so when he's like, I think I want to be a professional chef, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
yay! Oh no, like, oh
This
God,
is okay. So Renee, this is as close as I get. This is my
this is you.
passion, my purpose,
Yeah,
right?
I love
I
it.
never made it as a chef. I burn out. And
Yeah,
so it's really about giving chefs an opportunity to share their stories because in my mind, they're heroes in
yeah.
hospitality. And
Oh, completely.
so it's kind of like I decided not to go in that direction at one point,
Yeah.
but I miss it. I really miss it. And I really miss the people from hospitality so much because they're
And
so unique in the world.
you're still pulling that connection close to you, which is
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
amazing. I feel like, you're staying close to your purpose
Mm-hmm.
and you're going through evolutions of what you do as a vocation. The world needs this.
Right.
You love it. That's mission. And
Yeah.
so you're still holding that close to you and you're still practicing that in your life. And that is to be celebrated. And even if my buddy doesn't, become a professional chef, or if he
Mm-hmm.
goes into a kitchen and gets, the daylight scared out of him, that's
It
all
could
okay,
happen.
right?
Yeah.
It can totally
Yeah.
happen. But still, somewhere in that, he's identified that as a passion. He loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And darn it, is a 15-year-old kid. He can knock out taco night all on his own.
Oh,
And
I
he's
love that.
great at it.
Yeah.
So, in there, I feel like I'm passing on the gifts that my grandmothers gave to me and gifting it to my kids, which is come here, honey, let me feed you, let me love you, sit down, tell me about your day, eat this. It's delicious. And, it's more of a moment than it is the dish, but it can also be very much attached to the dish. So I'm so proud that we created a lifestyle that we could even inspire him to be interested in that. So,
Yeah, that's fantastic.
totally gone off your question.
Oh, it's okay. It's
I told
okay.
you that's the risk of asking me to summarize anything. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Well,
But like, what do I love most about being a lavender
mm-hmm.
farmer, and what keeps me
Mm-hmm.
motivated to continue this work? Lavender, the plant is truly healing, and
Mm-hmm.
every little bit of it is used. But really, it's the fields that grow this environment, and it's where they're just drawn to it like a magnet, and they're mesmerized by the pollinators. And even the act of harvesting, we hand harvest all of those plants. We've got 3,300 plants growing out in our fields. and we're hand harvesting with a sickle, each one, tying up bundles, hanging them in the drying loft, or gifting a fresh bundle to someone. And all of that is a beautiful process in and of itself.
Mm,
Being out in the field by yourself, or the two of us, my partner and I together, talking about life. All of those moments are so precious to us. And if we hadn't had leapt into this risky dream, we wouldn't have this. And so all of that, it's deeper than just the plant, but the plant itself represents relaxation. People want lavender
okay.
in their bath. They want oils in their humidifiers. And all of that, it is the terpenes that hit that neurological epicenter of relaxation. It
Mm,
immediately tells your brain that you're safe. And that's what the elements in lavender can do. And so we've created a world, a life that resembles that, if that makes sense. So
it
that's,
it does. It absolutely does. My wife turned me on to lavender. I was so naive, typical guy, right? Oh, I don't need lavender. And the next thing you know, I'm going to sleep and I'm smelling lavender on my pillow and
you need
I'm
lavender.
going, wow, or bath salt, right?
Yep,
And I just
absolutely.
couldn't believe the way it felt. And she's turned me on to a lot of really cool things. Like I'd never had a massage before. And I went,
What?
wow. Oh, yeah, because,
Yeah.
it's just, you just don't think about those things sometimes as a guy.
Yeah.
And she introduced me to it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I definitely want to go for a massage, and of course they have lavender there. So
I love it.
felt connected that way too. So
I think it's so cool. We live in this, we're only an hour north of Seattle.
that's what
And
I
it's
wanted to
not
ask
like
you about.
we're,
Yes.
yeah, we're not like,
Describe this.
oh,
Describe
it's
what
so cool.
Stanwood Camino
Yeah.
area is, because I know about it, but our listeners don't.
Yeah. So, and you've got listeners all over the world, and
Hmm.
I applaud you for that. But we're located here in the Pacific Northwest. So if you zoom out, and then I'll zoom you in, but we're here in the Pacific Northwest, but more specifically in Western Washington State. And if you drive north on I-5, 1 hour north of Seattle, and about an hour south of the Canadian border, boom, you're right there in Stanwood Camino. And it's home to about 25,000 people together. Camino Island is in Island County. Stanwood is in northern Snohomish County, but you have to go through Stanwood to get to Camino. So it's lumped together. We share a high school, but Stanwood has a small town feel and is situated right here along the Puget Sound, which is just a stone's throw to the beautiful San Juan Islands. Camino Island has two state parks for the outdoorsy, and everyone in this area is outdoorsy. Great shops, awesome boutiques, great little restaurants, just a very safe and friendly place to be. And I remember when my partner and I were thinking of moving north, we're like, oh gosh, here we go. It's very familiar. My grandparents used to live up there. It felt like a million miles away. And when you're out here, it does feel that way. It feels very much removed from the city or urban environment for a million reasons. We're like, okay, well, here we are, two women raising two beautiful children, teenagers that are adopted and have different skin color than
Oh,
us. And, like, how is this country, you know, rural environment, these farmers and growers that we want to be a part of desperately, how
hmm,
are we going to fit into this community? Is it going to be close knit, and are we going to really have to struggle to belong? And I kid you not, like, it was day one that the neighbors come over. And we're so lucky.
hmm.
It really is an incredibly supportive and welcoming community. And so I'm veering off of geography for a minute, but I have to pour my heart
Hmm.
out because this community deserves it.
I
Uh,
understand.
it's just incredible. It really is. And you were talking about, the masculine element
Hmm.
kind of being not being so quick to embrace all the wonderful elements of a flower.
But I do.
But I've got Cowboy Bill, who literally has like the handlebar mustache and it wears
Oh,
a hat, and he's down the street, who wears his suspenders and drives a big pickup truck, and he will only use our lavender soap.
oh my
Point blank
gosh.
period. He's not going to debate it.
Okay.
So it's like, I need that engraved into a trophy. Um, but yeah, it's Stanwood's great. And so, fun fact, if you were looking at a map of the Puget Sound
Hmm.
and located the Olympic Mountains and the Olympic Peninsula, you'll see the town of Sequim, which is kind of the lavender capital of the world, right? Or of North America,
Sure.
essentially. And Sequim enjoys the Olympic rain shadow and substantially less rainwater than most of us in the Puget Sound region. But that rain shadow arcs up north towards Stanwood Camano, through the Puget Sound, and then onward towards Anacortes. And some call that the banana belt. And so, because of that ideal soil type in Sequim and that weather, they're successful lavender growers, and they have that very famous lavender festival every single year, and people travel all around the world to attend it.
Hmm.
And it's just really nice to enjoy those same weather benefits and give our friends a close option to visit a large lavender farm without having to travel the distance out to the Olympic Peninsula. Although, if you can do it, it's beautiful. Go. But it's nice to be able to offer a backyard option. It feels like we're right in everyone's neighborhood. It's really nice.
So how do we find you online?
Yeah. Ourlegacyfields.com is our website. And I'm an amateur social media-er. So I've got a Facebook page and an Instagram page. So you can find us just by doing a quick little search for Our Legacy Fields. And you'll see that we just put a countdown calendar on our website, because
I
I'm
saw that.
literally crawling out of my skin with anticipation for this next season. I'm so excited about it.
Wow.
But we are at the Stanwood Farmers Market, which starts before we open up the farm to the public. So it kind of gets us, out in the community early in June, and just celebrating the sunny weather and the longer days with people. And then here on the farm, we're open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so 5 days a week. And we only
Okay.
close Mondays and Tuesdays to weed and mow and ice our carpal tunnel and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But that's where you'll find us, and there's easy directions on how to get to us. And
Okay.
the lavender
Okay.
ice cream is always cold.
Great. Well, Renee, I can't thank you enough for doing this. I was so excited to do this interview with you. You have changed many people's lives, and you're really an inspiration for people that are going through transition, and people in the hospitality industry as well.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. Follow us on Facebook. Find our website in the show notes. Subscribe on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen. Leave a comment with 5 stars, and stay tuned for the next episode of Voice4Chefs.